Afternoon. We welcome all of you here. We're very excited about this event. The Lee County Trauma Services District is promoting the Stop the Bleed campaign as part of not only our May Trauma Awareness Month, but also that was something we were starting before that came about. And we're very thankful that we were able to get funding not only from our Lee County Healthcare Coalition, but also from Sheriff Mike Scott, so that we were able to provide 721 trauma kits to all of our law enforcement throughout Lee County. According to the CDC, uncontrollable post-traumatic bleeding is the leading cause of potentially preventable death. Among trauma patients, hemorrhage is the second leading cause of death for patients injured in the pre-hospital environment, accounting for 30 to 40% of all mortality. In as little as 3 minutes, someone with an arterial bleed can bleed to death. So by having law enforcement and people that are close at hand when the traumatic injury actually occurs, we have a greater potential for saving everybody's life. So the Stop the Bleed campaign was originally developed by the Homeland Security. And the goal of that program is that no one should die from uncontrolled bleeding in mass casualties and active shootings and other events that occur throughout the area. So law enforcement and the general public are always the first that are on the scene. And since law enforcement is the first one to respond to the scene, we started with law enforcement first in this area. We're getting them the trauma kits so that they can start working in any of the motor vehicle crashes or any other mass casualty that we might have, or even small casualties, to stop that bleed. And from there, we're working with different government agencies and organizations and trying to get other funding, or we will spread this out to the rest of Lee County and then to the surrounding trauma district that we service. And I'm going to pass it on to Under Sheriff Carmen Marcino.
Thank you very much. Thank you everyone for being here today. I want to send a heartfelt thanks to Cindy and from Lee Health and Connie from the Lee County Health Coalition. On behalf of Sheriff Scott, I just want to emphasize that Lee County Sheriff's Office is privileged to work with all of you here today. This is a great day for us to get these trauma kits in the hands of our deputies. There's no secret that law enforcement, we respond to citizens in the most critical time of need. And obviously, whether it's a gunshot wound, a car accident, or another traumatic event, every single second counts. And that is very, very important and significant to us. That may very well help us prevent someone from bleeding to death, and most importantly, to save a life. Lee County Sheriff's Office is very happy to contribute the money from our forfeiture funds to assist with paying for these kits. Thank you for being here. Saving a life, there's nothing better. And I'd like to turn it over now to Connie Bowles with the Lee County Healthcare Coalition. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Connie Bowles. I am the chair of the Lee County Healthcare Coalition, and I have with me Crystal McCohen, who's the secretary. You may have not heard about the Healthcare Coalition, and it's pretty much what it sounds like. It is the agencies that work together that prepare, respond, and mitigate for all hazards. So it's healthcare, it's acute hospitals, it's long-term care centers, it's also EMS, fire departments, and law enforcement. And we were very happy to support this project. Cindy Boltman brought it to our committee, did a great presentation, and our membership voted to support this. And I can't say enough about supporting this project.
We're going to have a little demo done for us by Lieutenant Craven from the Lee County Sheriff's Department.
Thank you. These individual kits are amazing, and we are certainly appreciative of this donation. This kit in its small size that you see is very easily transported onto a facility or onto a scene that we happen upon. Contained within there is a large ACE bandage that could secure down gauze or an abdominal bandage that's also contained within. And really importantly, and considering the Stop the Bleed campaign, is these tourniquets. It's a combat tourniquet born in combat overseas through our several operations since the mid-90s. They've developed this since over the decades. Back in the 50s and earlier, they had unsuccessful tourniquet usage, which actually led to some misconceptions on the tourniquet use and loss of limbs. Today's tourniquets, we're not going to lose any limbs on this. And it's very easy. This particular tourniquet right here, you can see that I can self-apply this by myself, get it on there, twist the rod, and I'm going to stop the bleeding within seconds. Within seconds, I'll have stopped the bleeding and save my life. I can now, not only can I save my own life, but I'm gonna save the life of anybody that I happen upon. And you see how easy that was for me to put that on. And we're gonna supply court ops with this, our court operations personnel, our bailiffs, our schools. Having this type of equipment in our schools, I mean, is just vital to know that your kids are gonna have this type of equipment readily available to them.
Is Lee County one of the first places to have these available for law enforcement? I'm trying to throw you a curveball, I'm just
No,
curious.
it's not, no.
Not-
And you were saying, was it Fort Myers and Sanibel, they're also going to have these as well, or is it just the sheriff's office, or?
It is for all law enforcement in this area, so the Florida Highway Patrol, Lee County Sheriff's Office, our Fort Myers Police Department, Cape Coral Police Department, and Sanibel. So they are all covered. We contacted each agency and asked them exactly how many kits they were gonna need before this order even went into process. So that's where we were able to get that number of 721 and come up with the funding for that.
So maybe just explain a scenario where a deputy or an officer gets to a scene and this would be vital. Any kind of trauma?
Well, absolutely. It could be any scenario. It could be, God forbid, in the event of a gunshot wound to a victim. God forbid, our officer or deputy is, God forbid, shot. As you just seen, it was immediately, within a second, 2 or 3, you can put it on yourself, you can turn the lever, and immediately that tourniquet is applied. And every single second counts for a life. So every second is critical, and this is life-changing for us, and what we're going to be able to do, put these in the schools and other places that are in absolute need. So we can't thank everyone enough for their efforts, and especially the Lee Health System. It's amazing what they do to partnership with us.
Imagine timing's perfect with Memorial Day weekend coming up to have these out in the field.
Very, very busy, obviously, and yes, timing is perfect. It's a partnership. You see FHP, Fort Myers, Sanibel, we all work together. We're a big family, and then we also include in that family all our healthcare systems. So it's nice for all of us to come together and work together in this.
Any other
Any
questions?
questions? Paul, we thank you all very much for being here. Thank you.